Hello everyone, welcome back to the Glassman's world. So we're about to get started right now with working on putting cremains into glass. So this is a unfortunately someone's lost loved one. This was actually a pet. This was someone's dog, their pet dog, who had a very loving life and was was loved by not only her but a roommate as well. And so this is going to be a special gift for that person. And so I was given special permission to record this, and then that way they can also watch this live if they'd like, and be able to see the process of them being made, or at least of this one being made. So we're going to do a quick demonstration. I'm going to grab some white sage here real quick. Okay, so we got the kiln on. The kiln's been burning for a little bit, and we really don't need too much of this. You know, I feel bad. I found out earlier that there was someone who wanted me to make some of the Seal with Love memorial glass like this here, and you know, unfortunately, I just got my oxygen refilled, and this was the first order that I received to make these here, and I don't like to have more than one set of cremains, or you know, an individual's cremains in my possession. You know, if I'm working on one order, I'd rather just get that order done and complete it, and then I can move on to the next one. So, unfortunately, they had already spread the ashes, and they didn't realize that if they only wanted a few of them made, it was really not going to take too much, and they could have probably saved a little bit on the side there. All right, we'll keep these over here in a nice safe location. Okay. We'll just let that continue to burn here for a minute. So usually when I make these, I stay pretty quiet, and I really just like chant either to myself or maybe aloud. So we'll go through that here in a moment. And then I'll probably just, I'll probably talk my way through on this one, since I've been given permission to make these here and share them with you all. So with that being said, let's go on ahead and say a prayer here and put some love and gratitude into these, or into this one here. I'm only making one. Usually I make, at least 3 or a dozen or more. It's rare to have the request to only make one of these at a time. I would have thought maybe she would want one for herself as well, and maybe that may change, and we can do that as well. All right. Just send our love into this beautiful piece that's going to become. Namo Vishnu Gadaya Krishna Vistaya Bhutala Shrimate Sri Swarapanana Paramaha Sananda Vijaya Shri Krishna Nitami Kapuni Shinanda Shri Great God Sasaki Goda Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Hare Ram 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 Hare 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 Krishna Hare Goda. So it's been 6 months, or close to 6 months, since I've worked on the torch. Besides this morning, making these 8 or so of the 2-color psilocybin mushrooms here. Here, let me pick up one here, and we can show that off for you. This is what we're working on this morning. And as you can see, it's got the 2 colors in there. The cap's a little bit different than the stem. Stem's got a little bit more darker color. I used the butterscotch with the cobalt blue. Alright, so when I'm making the memorial drop, there's been a few different styles that I've made, but the majority of them that I've made are usually just a round, something similar to this, just a round pendant. That's a flat back style. You got the flat on the back. And then usually have some sort of dichroic glass in there, so some sort of like a sparkle glass or something, where it's got the little sparkle, the little shimmer and shine in there. I don't know if you can see that with the window reflection. But, and that one's also a dirty piece, and it doesn't have the best dichroic to look at. So what I do is I basically encase the cremains into the glass and embed them, or permanently embed them into the glass. And so in order to do so, what I do is I first pick up the cremains, which I'm about to do here in just a quick motion. So then those are picked up. We make sure that they're adhered to the glass. And then this also heats them up a little bit more, in case there is any leftover you know, I don't want to sound disgusting in any way or sound rude or anything, but you know, the cremains sometimes will have moisture left over and can create air bubbles and things like that. So it's good to put it in through the flame. And then we're going to use this piece of dichroic glass that's on the pad here, and we're going to put that directly on top, right in the center there. And that way we can embed them together. And we'll make sure that this is now I'll heat it up, and then I'll make sure that this is all adhered to the back of it, and then I'll mash it down to allow for that piece of glass to kind of spread out over on top of all of the cremains and get them basically permanently embedded in between two pieces of glass. So now we've got that in between the clear glass and also in between the dichroic glass. And then we will take this glass and we will spiral it. And what I do is I basically am spiraling them back out into the universe. So I use the dichroic, a little bit of cobalt blue, and it's a really beautiful piece that I make here. Alright, let's twist this up now. So now we'll get this all molten here. See, and sometimes at this point, individuals may want a little bit of color or things like that into it. With this one here, at first it was requested to have some green in there, but then I told her how I normally make them, and then she said go on ahead and just do it like that without adding the green. So we're just going to continue with making this as it is. Alright. So now we're going to spiral the dichroic with the cremains. And grab the clear glass here. That way we don't grab any of the cremains. So it all stays within the glass here. And just like that. Spiral them out. So now all of that's in the center and then spiraled. And then what I try to do is I try to get some of that to come out to the edge as well, so it'll like kind of spiral and from a tight spiral and then come out. And they all are different. They all change, and some of them are more open than others, and some are, you know, every single piece is an individual, one of a kind. So I can never get the spirals to be completely 100% identical. So now I'm just going to melt down all of the creases that were formed with the spinning of the glass there. So then we just turn it all back to one rod once again. And then we'll go back to the very end here. We'll heat up the tip of it here. And then we're going to mash it down to create the flat back style. And I always make them about an inch big, an inch wide in diameter, something like that. And I use the paddle here to help flatten it out. And then I don't know if you can see, there's like rings in there from the heat. So now we got to heat that up. And also, yeah, I don't know if you can really see the rings or not, but there's rings in there, and we're going to heat those up, and we're going to add some blue, cobalt blue, to the background of it here. So we're just going to heat up the tip of this cobalt rod here. And this is how I do a lot of my my flat back style pendants, like the jellyfish, where I put a blue background, or where it looks like they're just all floating in blue ocean water. It's really just a layer of glass on the back side of it. So we're about to add that to this here. I'm just going to heat it up, make sure I get all those weird heat rings melted away. And then we'll get this molten, and we're going to press this on to the back of it here. So we want to get it molten and kind of start to like form a marble, a little bit of a ball at the end. So that way when we mash it in, it'll also spread out. Here we go. So in the center, spin it and push it all at the same time, and as you can see, it kind of mashes out like that. Then we're going to cut it off, and then I'm going to mash it some more. To heat this all and flatten it down. So we'll now do a flame cut. We'll use a flame to just heat it up, get it so molten, you stretch it out and it thins itself out. You don't want to pull it away too fast from itself, or else that gets dangerous with the long stringer. Okay, so now we're going to melt this down, and we're going to spread it out again. We're going to use the paddle here. And we're going to spread it out a little bit more, flatten this all down. And then we'll work on melting all of it down as one piece of glass. Because right now, you're going to see it's going to look like it's kind of two pieces of glass, one on top of the other, like one sandwich onto the other. If I put another one there, it looks like a little glass burger or something, right? Little glass bun on top. Okay, so you can see now what I'm talking about with the rim right there. So we got to get that all to one piece. So we got to get it all molten, melt it all down, and make it become one. And we'll flatten it out again. So I'm going to follow the rim of this, where the two pieces of glass conjoin together, and we're going to get them to just flow as one and all become one piece of glass, all melting together there. And now I'll flatten it out again, and actually we're going to flatten it out again real quick just to try to thin out this blue a little bit more and make it stretch out to the edges a little bit better. There we go. So the spiral's in there. Now we're putting the backing on there, the blue backing, which is going to make it look like the whole thing is all blue, all one. But it's really just a little bit of clear with a little bit more, or a little bit of the blue on top of that clear. you'll have a little bit more clear than the blue at the end. And then a little bit of the cremains in there. If I put too much, like I said, the moisture from within it can cause air bubbling and cracking. So there's just a small amount that I put in there, which then, you know, less is more. And also, you know, a little bit goes a long ways at that point. So then I can make quite a few of these. And, you know, a lot of people, when they lose a loved one, especially family members and stuff, everyone's gonna want a little token of them, little small part or piece of them that they can take with them. And these are a beautiful gift that you can do that. Alright, so now they're coming together a little bit more and a little bit more. I don't know if you can see that or not. It still needs to be even more all one piece. And sorry, I'm trying to figure out where my camera is, so I'm just barely getting back on here. I need to try to work on my angle here. So we're just going to sink this down. I'm using my left hand now to spin this, giving my right hand, my right arm a little bit of a break. Come back over on the right. I do have a lot more control at my right than my left, but I've become pretty ambidextrous with blowing glass. You know, I can spin glass on both hands pretty comfortably, almost equally, almost. But definitely my right hand's the dominant hand. As you can see, I just switched back over to the left. Not really any sort of pausing or anything like that. Alright. Just going to heat it up just a little bit more. Flatten it out one more time here. Alright, so now you can see that's pretty much just all one piece of glass. It's nice and smooth now. And, you know, there's no more of a bump or that sort of like indention or anything like that. So now, we get to pull it off, round up the front, put a loop on the top, and that's done. So we'll get a puntee here. Okay, and a puntee is basically just a piece of glass, scrap piece of glass, a nice straight piece of glass. This one's tubing, that I've melted on the tip, and it's become a solid piece of glass on the tip, but it all started out as just a piece of tubing. You can use a rod, solid rod, or a little tube like this. I'm going to attach that and get that as best centered as possible. And now we're going to cut off the front of this here. So we're going to pull this, and as we pull it, we're also going to stretch out about an inch, inch and a half of the 16 millimeter rod. We're going to stretch it out to, like, I don't know, about 3 to 4 millimeters thick. And like I said, about an inch, inch and a half. We're going to utilize that as the rod for the loop. And a lot of people will actually, you know, they'll buy a bunch of rods, cases of rod, like a 6 millimeter rod, 7 mil, 6 mil, 4 mil. And they'll use those for these sort of things. I just tend to figure, well, we're going to stretch this out. Might as well just do a slow pull, and you can actually utilize it. So here we go. We're going to just do a nice little slow pull. We're just going to stretch it. Let it gradually just come off the piece here. And this will also give it a nice pull, a nice tapered pull off to the front there. Alright, and then we're going to do a flame cut. As you can see, I'm holding it like kind of 45-degree angle. So the flame's going more into the body instead of the rod here. We're going to round up the tip of the rod here. That way it's a little bit thicker when we go to attach it. And this will all, you know, we'll be able to make it a lot bigger and thicker. And then I'll set this aside for a moment. And now we'll get our tweezers here. And we're just going to pull this off and clean this up here. And I just realized I don't have my glass jar ready to go. Okay, there it is. I just realized I didn't have a glass jar ready to go. I think that's all clear yet. Alright, good. I have another one for color glass. I'm just pulling off the clear glass that's on the front or the face of the pendant here now. That way there's not a little bump, a little knob, little piece just sticking up right there. And now we'll just melt it down into the face of the glass here, of the pendant. I can see the spiral and the dichroic shimmering through the light here. So now I'm just holding that flame right on the very tip of it where that little bump was, and we're rounding it out. We're just using the flame to melt it down to where it all becomes one. It all liquefies and it just liquefies. It gets all gooey and and eventually things just start to flow into place just by holding it there, controlling your spin, the rotation, and specifically where the flame is going to. And also you want to make sure you're not holding it too long in any certain places and then boil your clear glass. You don't want to have any air bubbles or anything like that on the surface. And now it's all nice and round, and I'm just trying to perfect it to make it look really, really, really nice. And just hold it like this. That way you can make it all nice and flat. And I think I'll round it just a little bit more, just to make sure you get that nice rounded lens on the front. Alright, and then we're going to pick up that rod again that we had before, the one that was part of this pendant here, the one we pulled off. We left that little bit of a rod sticking off of it. I'm just going to attach that. I'm going to take a look at this here. Let's see what it looks like. We'll see how I want to position it. Probably like that. Okay. So now I know where I want the top to be compared to the bottom. And we're just going to attach it right here. A nice little flame fusion. Fusing them together. Nice hot seal. Attach it. Give it a little bit of a pull towards the front. And then we're going to bring this loop all the way around. And just like that, attach it. I make that look easy, but it's kind of difficult to do that. And then a lot of people will reattach a puntee to the bottom. I am just going to work it sideways like this. I just have to make sure it doesn't start to lean and get all weird on me. I'm just going to fuse that all as part of one, just like that. And then we'll work on the front of it here, and we'll get that all nice and rounded as well. And I'll just round it up. And there you go. That's the finished Sealed with Love memorial glass. I don't know which camera we use. There's like 4 different cameras on my phone here. But yeah, so there you have it. Sealed with Love memorial glass. You can see all that, there you go. Yeah, that looks nice. Now you can really see all that sparkle and shimmer. Everything in there. Alright, and then it's going to look even better. It's going to just pop in the sunlight. You can see the loop, how the loop is made. And then we'll just take this off. And then we'll flame polish the back to get rid of the punchy mark. So where we just snap that piece off right there. Sometimes there's a little bit of like a chunk of glass left over, or a little bit of a sharp piece or something. And you may notice this on like some bigger pieces, like the Mexican glass, the pitchers, where they get like, you know, the lemonade pitchers, drink pitchers, or you know, different candlesticks or different things. We'll make sure it's all nice and flat. And we'll get rid of any heat rings from putting it on there. And that's a done piece right there, guys. So there you have it. That's one piece down, a Sealed with Love memorial glass. It is the only one I need to make. Usually I need to make like a dozen of these or something like that. But there you have it, guys. That's Sealed with Love memorial glass. I need to actually get ready to get going. I thought I was going to have a lot more time to work and to make some things, but I guess I'm just going to be making stuff over at the live demo tonight. That's 3808 Central, and I do believe that I'll be keeping the torch there and leaving it there for the evening, to where I can also do some live demos tomorrow too. So come on out, check it out. Thanks for tuning in and watching. I'm gonna let y'all go. We're gonna drop this in the kiln real quick. Oh good, I still have my towel here. Wait, how am I gonna open it? Alright, take that off. And then, here we go. Woo! That is a hot kiln. How hot is that kiln? That's got to be way over temperature. Oh yeah. Well, it says it's 1060. But there's no way. That's like 1100 or something. That's really hot. That definitely is not. There we go. Now the temperature is reading better. 1065, 1066, 1070, 72, 73, 74. Now it's reading right. It's like, okay. 1080. So we only need it to be up to 1080 pretty much. So with it being right there, I'm just going to turn off the kiln. At least bring it down to low for a minute. That way it can sit there soak for at least 20 minutes at 1080. That's where I like to keep it at. I know some people, they will have their torch at about 1050, something like that, 1048, 1050. So there you go, 1098, right at about 1100. Like I said, that was a hot kiln there. I'm going to turn this off so this can cool down. I only got about an hour or less to get this broke down and to get ready to go. This is going to be crazy. What am I going to take with me? I might do some jellyfish. I might do a whole bunch of just mushrooms. A whole bunch of 2-color mushrooms. stuff like that. I need to figure out what colors I'm going to take with me. And we're going to have to bring some clear glass rods. That's another thing, is I don't really have too many rods left. Do I even have any rods? I think I ran out actually 6 months ago. I need to restock on getting rods, so I need to actually take some of these and put them together. We're gonna have a little bit of fun tonight, I guess, playing with. It's gonna be interesting. All right, I'm gonna let you guys go. Thank you so much for tuning in and watching. That is a demonstration on how to make Sealed with Love memorial glass. This is Dan the Glass Man. You're watching the Glass Man's World. Thank you for subscribing. We got, well, it says 999 subscribers again. We did have 1,001K subscribers. Make sure you hit that like button. It helps out the algorithms. I'll be doing a lot more live demos now that I got the torch back on. We got oxygen again, and this is a beautiful thing. 6 months later, and I'm back to work. We're going to do a live demo right in time, man. This is perfect. Okay, see you guys later. Hopefully you can make it out to the live demos either tonight or tomorrow at the Sunday market from 10 till 2. All right, have a good night. Talk to you soon. Later.